Welcome back to Dyknow's Tech Coach Corner YouTube series. I'm Tiara Lustig, your host, and today I'm joined by Derek McCoy to talk about Twitter PLNs. Derek is very passionate about creating PLNs, especially through Twitter, so he has some great insight and stories on how he created his PLN and how you can create a similar PLN if you're just getting started. Before we jump into the episode, just want to remind everyone to subscribe to Dyknow's YouTube channel so that you're never missing an episode that we publish, and keep an eye out for some exciting new YouTube content coming out early next week. We can't wait for you to view it. It's going to be really exciting, great extension of what we're already doing, and it's some great content. So keep an eye out for that. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the launch of it, and follow us on all of our social channels. I think that's all I have to plug today. Let's jump into our conversation with Derek. Welcome back to Tech Coach Corner, everyone. I'm Tiara Lustig, your host, and today I'm joined by Derek McCoy to talk about Twitter PLNs. Derek, would you mind giving a brief introduction to yourself before we get started?
I'm happy to. My name is Derek McCoy. I'm a middle school principal in Asheboro City Schools, North Carolina. This is my 10th year as a principal, and I'm the co-author of The Revolution: It's Time to Empower Change in Our Schools. And in 2014, I was the National Digital Principal of the Year.
Wonderful. Well, we're excited to have you here on Tech Coach Corner. Recently, we had you as a guest on our Tackling Tech podcast, and one thing you spoke a lot about was your Twitter PLN and how that's really changed you as an educator and as a person. I would love if you could share a little bit of your story on building your PLN and any tips you have for educators out there who might be, just getting started with building their PLN on Twitter.
Absolutely. So this is my 11th year on Twitter, okay? And prior to that, I had a great and typical learning growth experience like most educators, attended the PD, read books, connected with, I think at that point I had done a conference or two, but maybe not a lot of conferences. Typical growth kind of stuff, and it was good. Leaders and some great mentors. But that year I was an assistant principal. My superintendent at the time, she was a real visionary. Shout out to Dr. Donna Peters. She brought in some people who were helping us connect on another level and grow our learning and our connection. And his name is Dr. Brian Setzer. Shout out to B. He connected us to Twitter and the concept of the professional learning network. So from there, as an assistant principal, I learned about hashtags. I learned about the different groups that are there. I learned about chats, participating in Twitter chats. And it was fantastic. It was blowing my mind because it was real conversation. It was real conversations, real questions. Back then it was just 140 characters, but we were in and out. We were getting to it quick, but that started conversations, and then we carried those conversations offline. And I was connecting with experts and authors who had been in it for a while, and they were just real people, and they were just like, yes, Derek, that's great. Or yes, Derek, that's part of it, but consider this. And sometimes it's like, nah, start over and do this. And this is what learning is all about. Learning is social, learning is about connecting, and learning is about the stories. And that's what the PLN did. So Sylvia Duckworth, I hope you follow her on Twitter. She has a great graphic about her learning and growth as a teacher once she joined Twitter. She talked about a very moderate trajectory, a slight dip, which we all go through, and then just a sharp increase once she started building up her professional learning network. That is and was me to a T. Now, I have connected with authors and experts and people who I value and make part of my learning journey. I have experiences now because of my professional learning network. The learners, I am not the same educator that I was because of my professional learning network. My outlook, and I've always been I've always leaned towards using technology, but thinking of it in terms of enhancing my practice and how learners learn and what teachers can do is just totally evolved since my professional learning network. Looking at student agency, what students are doing, the value of student voice, just really a lot of the concepts from our book were just enhanced from my connections from my professional learning network. So if you're out there and you're just starting your PLN journey, I'm going to tell you, embrace it, dive deep, connect with people. Don't make it about, I think the power for us as educators on Twitter is that we don't just make it about a tweet or a post. I tell people all the time when I present about professional learning networks, I'm not going to show you what sandwich I had for lunch. That's not what our professional learning network is about. I'm going to share with you some great things in our school. I'm going to pose some questions that I need some help with, and I'm going to answer some questions or help connect some people with some resources or some people who might help them on their journey. Your professional learning network is next level learning. So it's great. It's a great place to be.
Twitter is powerful and PLNs are powerful. We've had some amazing conversations with educators talking about PLNs. And one thing we hear over and over is just how eager educators are to share information with one another and learn from one another. And I think that's the beauty of building PLNs within the education community is there's no lack of knowledge and everyone is going to share knowledge. I think it was, I forget who we were having a conversation with about it. I think it was Chris Woods, and he said, Twitter is the best teacher's lounge you'll ever be in because it's endless. So that's one of my favorite quotes. Thank you so much, Derek, for sharing that. I think those are some great tips for people who are just getting started with their Twitter PLN. If they want to engage with you on Twitter or anywhere else, where can they find you?
I actively encourage you to reach out on Twitter. So start there. My handle is at McCoy Derek, McCoyDerek on Twitter. And I engage, we follow back, we converse, we chat. And like I say, I am an example of the power of the connection. So hit me up there. You can also hit me up on my website, McCoyDerek.com, McCoyDerek. And I'm on LinkedIn. You can find me on Facebook. Find me on most social media, including Instagram. But yeah, hit me up on Twitter. We growing PLNs is a blessing, and we all can be a part of it. Your students, the biggest thing about your professional learning network, your growth is going to be spectacular, but your learners win from your growth. Your learners win from your connection and your growth in your PLN. So absolutely embrace it for your learners.
That is a great nugget of wisdom to leave everyone with. Thank you so much, Derek, for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.